Good evening. This is Nick Mosley. UTC ID is KHY111. This is going to be the fifth problem on the midterm, notated as problem 7. And so the prompt is Python functions called satisfies L and f of s that has the specification below. Write a Python function called satisfies empty parentheses that has the specification below. And then it is gave the def satisfies f with the uppercase L in the parentheses here, and then as follows. So L is a list of strings. Assume function f is provided, and it maps a string to a Boolean. Mutate L such that it contains all of the strings S originally in L, such that function of S or f of S returns false and no other elements. Remaining elements in L should be in the same order. And so essentially what I did here, well, first of all, we were given these, and this was the tester, kind of as you can see here. I've got this other one here with a couple other A's thrown in, and another one just to kind of bookend it, just for testing purposes, frankly. And then we were given this just essentially to call back to run the program here. And so, excuse me, what we are doing here, and, again, L is the list of strings here, which is down here. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw up an empty list here that provided here, and then we're just going to do a for loop since it was to test for a Boolean statement to return false. So for items in L or S's in L, letters essentially in the string. So if the function of I, which is going to be this function down here, returns false, we're going to throw that up into our new list, and then we are going to append that initial list L to be the new list. So what we'll do is we would essentially run through these. So, we would take a look at A, and so we would do the function of S, and so that would return true. That would be true. So it wouldn't be appended. So that would essentially be tossed aside in here. We would go through, wouldn't be added to the list. Return L. At this point, it would be an empty variable, or excuse me, empty list rather. And then we would go on to the next one. So then we're going to be looking at B. That would return false because B is not A, and then so on and so forth. But that's the initial logic, especially with the Boolean statement. So B and C, essentially anything that isn't A is going to return false because it wouldn't satisfy this function here. And so anything that returns false is going to be thrown up into the list. Then we'll return the list. And then so this is, run satisfies, this subset here is what we'll really be calling, and we'll be printing out this function that is, defined above and just aforementioned there. And then so, excuse me, this is going to be referencing this. That's how that'll come into play for the for this function here. So it'll all kind of waterfall based on that, but we'll take a look and see if this one runs, and then if that one does, hopefully this one does as well. So we'll run this, and then yeah, so running results should look like that, and that's exactly what's shown here. And then just to see if the logic holds for the A's being interspersed throughout the strings or through the different strings here, and with further ones to read, just make sure it doesn't get hung up on anything or throw a fault if anything else is thrown in or stops at an odd area. Anyways, we'll take a look and we'll run it here now. And then so wonderful. And then so those are going to stay in order, because it is just traversing the length rather, not the length of the string here. So A gets thrown out since it's excuse me, it's input as true, and then So it wouldn't be input into the new list. And then B would return false because it doesn't satisfy that function. It'll be input in the list, which will be called, and then so on and so forth. And so that is returning those strings with a Boolean statement there. And have a good evening.